Welcome to the Future Whales podcast from the Sigma Alliance Network here. Coming at you on Thursday, October 9th, 2017. I'm your host, Brenda Macabo, and with me today is Face66.
Hi, I'm Face.
And his birds.
And my birds. Yep, you got my birds. Face and his birds.
Dude, you should just keep the birds. That was perfect. Should have been just nothing but. You should have just been Face and then let the birds go.
Every episode can be.
How am I supposed to follow that?
In Blade Runner, there's just some like a pigeon.
It's like Jesus. They like drop doves when he walks in there. Furious here, just waiting for Revan.
Hi, I'm Mighty Galens, and I'm working on Empire.
So, hi, it's me, Sith.
Flawless.
We have Valen.
Okay, it's me, Valen, and I'm all about that Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum in the Galactic War and the territory battles.
Galactic War. I just feel dirty. Feel ashamed now.
I gotta tell you, when I get to my 12th note and I one-shot a group of Ewoks plebs that are like 3-star, nothing feels better.
All right, so this week we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff, but the big focus here is going to be the latest news. That's going to be a lot of First Order. We're going to be doing a really cool spotlight video from Master Blaster Assassin Master, who has a name that does not roll off the tongue, but what the heck, it's a great video. We're going to talk about what we're doing in the game and where we're at now. We're going to have a showcase on the this is serious, guys. A Bounty Hunters Arena Showcase. You want to take notes on that one?
Yeah, followed by a rainbow and a unicorn.
And then we're going to give some predictions.
Or just a rainbow unicorn.
Yeah, a rainbow with Boba Fett riding upon it. Gloriously. All right, so we're going to kick it off here with the First Order. And we have some cool stuff coming at us with marquee events. And we have 2 new characters, 2 new ships, Unmasked Kylo Ren, and a new TIE Fighter pilot. That looks very much like an Inferno Squad emblem on him, but I don't want to dig too deep into that right now. Let's just talk about the meat and potatoes here, guys. What do you think about the new characters and ships?
I really like the new Kylo. The fact that when he's taunted, he has a 100% counter chance is really good, especially considering he gets a taunt if he attacks an enemy that's debuffed. So he can be, and he also has a debuff if they don't have tenacity down. So he could be constantly running a taunt from that.
It's probably the best basic attack on a tank in the game.
Well, and he's got a stun on top of that, so it's just like his kit is amazing. I love it. It's one of my favorite. He's probably going to be on the list of the top 5 tanks in the game, in my opinion.
I'd say he's the best dark side tank in the game.
I don't know. I really feel like Shore Trooper.
He seems like. I feel like Short Trooper is better, but he really seems like a glorified Sunfac, where he kind of taunts and then he like counters, and his basic, pretty much he taunts, and then whenever he's attacked while he's taunting, he'll punish you for attacking him. Kind of, it kind of reminds me of Sunfac, honestly.
Well, yeah, it's a better kit than Sunfac.
Way better kit than Sunfac by far.
I get what you're saying though.
He's going to replace Sunfac on the Turpentine team, I think, in the phase 3 of the tank, because
he's definitely going to be one of the best characters in I say in the game in general, but he's definitely going to be really good just taunter for.
Well,
he's going to have a place somewhere, but I still really like
everywhere,
First Order Stormtrooper and what's his name better?
I think
Shore Trooper and First Order Stormtrooper I still think are better.
I think Kylo Ren would make for great in raids because he puts tenacity down. And he's a tank. He's a taunting tank. The other thing about it is that he, being an auto taunter and a taunter on basic and a taunter on special, that's a really powerful taunter. There's, that's one of the best types it takes in the game, one that auto taunts. That's why everyone likes Baze and Shore Trooper and all this kind of stuff, because they're auto taunters. And he's a really potent auto taunter tank. Zombie's a good tank too, but he's specific. He's a specific. I feel like Kylo couldn't be used outside of his faction.
I don't know about that.
I think he's like Shore Trooper.
Fully utilized.
I'm not saying fully utilized, just like Short Trooper isn't fully utilized outside of his faction, but he still works, and he's still really good.
But the difference between that and this guy though is with Short Trooper, you have a lot more options if you wanted to make multiple types of teams. Where this First Order stuff, you don't really have as many options.
I disagree. I think I could build a team with Kylo Ren in Arena that has no other First Order in it that could be really strong, building around the idea of stunning. Think about this for a second. Okay, you've got R2-D2, you've got Kylo Ren, and then you've got Han Solo, Raid Han Solo on a team together. I don't know, maybe I don't know who your leader would be, maybe Commander Luke, and then just put another rebel on the team, another powerful rebel on the team or something. That could be a really, really cool team for Arena with all the stuns going on. You've got 3 or 4 different stuns.
Yeah, I mean, you have a ton of options.
Check this out though. If I was running Kylo Unmasked lead though, every time I get a debuff or a buff, I'm going to gain health and protection. So you can stun them all day, and they're going to keep recovering all that, and they're going to last a lot longer than you think.
You're saying make him the leader and not and then do what I was saying with all the other stuff.
You need First Order stuff though. At least
I don't feel like he's as strong without First Order. He's exponentially stronger. With the amount of his leadership is vicious.
Doing a stun team in the current Arena is really powerful, I think.
Hey guys, all right. I think one thing that I just want to highlight here is that absolutely he takes First Order to the next level. I mean, if you think about what this new Kylo does with First Order, it's amazing. But like any tank, I think Baze, Kenobi, you could pull them out of their faction and plug them into any team just because their tankiness. So I think you're right about that, Valen. But I think in a First Order squad, he is off the hook.
Well, I think it's going to be amazing for the Dark Side territory battles when it comes along, because you're going to be able to have a First Order team that's actually viable for territory battles just because of him, in my opinion. I don't think the Dark Side, the First Order was really viable until he came along for a territory battle situation.
I completely 100% disagree with that. I think they would have been a perfectly fine team.
Yeah, I'd have to say First Order would have been 100% fine. The thing is, First Order just straight up, they're gonna have a little bit of difficulty, but once you put those Zetas on there, they're a machine.
That's a silly argument, in my opinion, because barely anyone is gonna have the amount of Zetas to be able to do that.
All you really need is without Kylo, without the new Kylo. If you have Phasma Zeta, that's already an insane bonus.
Yeah, but you have to think about people and who they Zeta and why they Zeta them. And what I'm saying is we need to look at the First Order team without any Zetas and see if they'd be viable in that situation. Just like many, many people run Rogue One without Zetas and they're able to 6-6 stuff. So my point is...
No. You're not 6-6ing the Phase 6 thing without a Zeta.
Oh, yes, you are. There's plenty of people that do.
Not every time.
If you gear 11, if you gear 11 and you're 7 stars on all of them, absolutely you can 6-star it without the Zeta.
It's something that you're going to rely on 100% of the time. In the same sense, you would have First Order doing just the same without the Zetas. It's a good team.
Yeah, but it's pretty comparable.
Yeah, and for example, let's just say, comparing it back to the original First Order squad, imagine a Jin Zeta would be comparable to just Zeta-ing Phasma. That bumps up their effectiveness significantly. And
but the question is how viable are they with just one Zeta or no Zetas? Right?
They're as viable as Rogue One and for Darkside territory battles, I would think.
I think I would use Kylo Ren Unmasked as my leader for sure.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I think Phasma leader's gone.
30 speed is insane.
Nah,
and then
dude.
Plus 40.
I know what I can see is 30 speed.
Yeah, plus 40% critical damage is still pretty good because think about it, they're all gonna always critical hit. There's no time where they're not gonna critical hit. So
yeah, they have tons of advantage.
Yeah. Now imagine if on top of that you throw on max crit chance from mods, and what's that at? That's over 210%, I believe, something like that.
Sounds like it'd be good for territory battles, but I don't know if that would be good in Arena with all of the anti-crit stuff going on,
Well,
this
I
is
mean,
a pretty solid team.
Well, Kylo Ren does have healing immunity, the old one.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that They're gonna have debuffing, for example, plus just the sheer amount of damage. Like I'm kind of relating them over to bounty hunters now because just the sheer amount of damage and speed they get once they start rolling, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, but there's a lot of teams like that already. Like look at Resistance. It's hard to stop once you get them rolling, but if you're fighting against them, they're super easy to defeat. Right? That's what I'm saying. Is we need to think about it.
I think one thing you don't really need to look at teams defensive wise because you're always going to lose defensively. You're almost always going to lose.
I don't agree with that. I think there's teams that people are annoyed to face. Well,
yeah, there's one team that people are annoyed to face. But I mean, like, really, what teams hold?
Well, I think there's teams that don't exist yet that may be able to hold better using these new characters.
Relevant. But I mean, that doesn't exist. So
well,
I mean,
what we're talking about right now doesn't exist either. So.
Yeah, but like even then, what they're not going to know how to fight that for what, a week, 2 weeks, and then they're going to figure out a workaround, and that team's not going to win defensively either.
Well, even if there's a workaround, my point is that it's an annoying team to face, and you may just skip over it versus other teams that you would go up against. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, people would skip over Rogue One because they'd just be like, "Oh crap, Baze and Chirrut." Nowadays, it doesn't matter anymore. But my point being is that there could be a team that we're not seeing yet that could be super annoying using the new Kylo Ren, that people just might not want to do, might not want to go against.
Yeah, it'll probably be a First Order team, is what we're saying.
I doubt it. I think the First Order team will be just like Resistance.
His leadership is by far his defining quality.
I'd have to agree.
If he didn't have his leadership, I wouldn't even look at him.
So is the leadership for the Resistance, right? That's a really good leadership too.
You mean the best light side squad in the game?
Yeah,
but
is
that who you're talking about?
The best Zeta in the game?
Just wanted to clarify who you're talking about. The best light side team in the game, right?
Quote unquote best. The best for everything.
They're definitely the best. They're 100% the best.
They're the best at everything.
Let me just explain what I mean. Okay, when you put if you're in my arena, which is a really old shard, and you put Resistance on, and you're in the top 20, top 10, you'll get knocked down to the bottom 100 in like a minute. It will take no time.
Gets absolutely ruined on defense.
Okay. But there are other teams that don't get ruined on defense.
But they still capitalize all other aspects of the game.
That's great.
Like
that's fine.
number one
no
across
problem.
The board. And they still can get pretty competitive in the game.
I have no arguments that they're good in the game. I'm just saying that if we're talking about arena, I feel like just like Resistance drops really hard and fast, I think First Order would be very similar to that.
Resistance relies on its cheese mechanic, though, whereas First Order doesn't.
Yeah. First Order, okay, I'm looking at it this way. Resistance relies on, we're going to get this fancy-ass debuff, and then we're going to work around, boost our turn meter, and they're trying to do some, like, fancy stuff with all their exposes and such, where First Order, all I see is just raw stat increase. Just that raw bump in speed and damage. That seems like it's already a step up from Resistance, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they get heals.
Yeah, you can't really compare the Finn Zeta and Kylo's lead because they're completely different. You know, the issue with Finn's lead is that it requires a person with a brain to play, whereas if you're just rawly increasing people's stats and generally making them better, then that can be played by the computer.
But if you're giving advantage all the time, isn't that going to be negative when you're going up against really a large majority of current teams?
Well, who cares if you're going to crit, like, for example, like a Kenobi team, who cares if you're going to crit every shot, plus the insane increase in crit damage they're going to have? Who cares if Kenobi's taunting? You're just going to wipe him out in a couple turns.
But let's just say this. Let's say someone is using a thing that gives crit immunity. Then your whole team falls apart. Like, I use crit immunity on my team.
Yeah, but if they have crit immunity, then what's going to save them from all your damage?
What are you talking about? Crit immunity means that they won't get hit by the crits. The crits won't even crit them.
But you can easily remove debuffs. I mean, you can easily remove buffs with the First Order team. So, like, if
buffs are not their problem.
Kylo's stun removes buffs. So you're going to be using stun.
You just remove it. Like,
I just feel like it's very easily beaten by a Rex team with Shore Trooper on it, quite frankly.
Think of it this
Um,
way: First Order TIE Pilot, the old one, if you have him maxed out, he's gonna one-shot Rex practically.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna go bang bang,
if he
and
can
that's
get
it.
to Rex, right?
He's
What do
gonna
you
be
mean
able
if he can get to
to.
Rex?
This team has two tanks.
Say for example, shore troopers on the other team, like you were saying, they're gonna burn through shore trooper first couple turns.
I don't
They're
know,
gonna all
man.
be if you have
Yeah.
Phasma in there, have Phasma as fast as possible. How much speed could you get on Phasma? Let's just say you have like a good 80 speed on Phasma. That's not even that much. So let's just say you have 80 speed on Phasma. That gets her to around 200 plus 30 on top of that, 230 speed with average speed mods. So if you can get Phasma going first, she can use Victory March. Everyone gains turn meter. Everyone gains advantage. You can melt through the first auto taunter.
And your First Order Stormtrooper can remove buffs. So if they have a base or whatever, you can remove that stuff early on. Big deal.
I think the First Order arena team has some options. I just would like to see how it plays out.
Yeah,
I'm just, for me, I'm the kind of person that likes to actually run teams and just play around with them. But like on paper, they could be dominant. And if you could imagine what Snoke or what Hux, if they bring one of those two into the game,
I think the First
It'd be
Order
great.
needs something
There's
more
definitely-
to be arena viable.
I feel like how they are right now with these current, what is it, 7 characters, I believe? Or is it 8? It's 7,
Seven.
yep. The current
It's
7, I feel they're very strong. You can pick like any 5 of them, and I feel like they'll still be pretty strong. But once because there's definitely more for them in the future. 100% there's going to be more very soon
yeah.
they're releasing for
yeah,
them.
sure. Yeah.
Once that comes out, I feel like they're going to be boosted way up to the top.
I think
like
First Order will
I
be-
recommend to like everyone right now, focus your First Order. Like bounty hunters first, obviously, but a step below that, I feel like people should definitely be hopping on that First Order.
I think
'cause
I think First Order will be arena in the arena, but not with just these 2 characters. I think when we see more characters release, I think there'll be more of a viable option.
I mean, like based on like right now, I feel like there's going to be, I'd say, a good like at least 5 to 10 in the top 50. If you have them here like all maxed out, 5 to 10 in the top 50 easily.
Well,
I would
there's
agree.
There's a few people right now that have full Gear 12 First Order teams, and so we'll see what happens. We'll keep. an eye
Yeah,
on
I'm anxious
that.
to see those videos.
yeah, they're going to be fun. I think more than anything, First Order seems like a wicked fun team to play.
Hey,
Well,
does
so-
everybody agree that the Special Forces pilot is the one that you can kind of leave out?
Probably.
Yeah, his
think-
damage.
He looks a little
seem-
bogus.
Yeah.
I think I would
I
use
mean,
him.
he seems cool. He seems cool, but I feel like the regular First Order type pilot is just better in every way.
I think I would use him in like a Galactic War, probably, but not in arena.
What are the damage numbers that you guys are seeing from him? Because I was just assuming the damage was going to be comparable.
Kinda
They're
low.
on
Kinda
they're
low.
on swgoh.gg. I saw his basic attack and it was like 9,000 or something.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
his
that low.
AOE is like 6,000 per.
His AOE
Yeah,
is so
the
low.
AOE is more of a Phasma
Like,
type thing.
when I was using him in the marquee or whatever, I kept on hitting for like maybe 5 or 6 with his AOE. Like it was nothing.
I think of
Yeah.
it like a backwards Phasma. Like instead of it putting stuff on them, it gives you buffs instead.
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
interested to see what they do. I mean, how do you guys feel about Kylo though? Outside of First Order, do you think that he's going to be something that people will want to go after, that they could use in multiple areas of the game outside of like if they don't have a First Order team built up? Do you think?
Nah.
Yeah, no, the way I feel is who are the best tanks in the game right now? Kenobi. Not
Yeah.
very many people have them if they're just starting out. Baze, hard to farm.
Yep.
Shore, hard to farm.
Yep.
All these tanks seem really hard to farm. So if you just got him from the marquee and he's like one of your only tanks, I feel like he is definitely one of the top tanks in the game.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I think he's really, really good, and if he's easier to farm than these other tanks are, then he's probably going to be someone a lot of people use because he's a really
You
strong
could-
tank.
Yeah, but
You can still
There
get
is a
by with
zero-
Old Ben or Stormtrooper Han. Come on.
No, I
there-
think he's better than Old Ben.
Guys.
Yeah, but those guys you're gonna have them at
Depends on the
7 stars ready to go. Like
But I'll
So
tell
why
you
would
what,
you
there's
want-
a chance that he is going to be easier to farm than Shore Base. I can guarantee you that. If you're expecting him to be an easy farm, That is not the way tanks work in this game.
There's a possibility he could be a hard node, and his ship and him will be on the same hard node. There's a possibility.
Kind of like
I think
sure.
I think best case scenario, he'll be in one of the crappy Cantina nodes, like the 16 energy ones in the back there. There's a couple open.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, the
he
ones
could
on
be a
the-
You know,
Cantina.
Dark Side Alley over there with Sith Assassin and Gar Saxon.
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah,
all
there's
those
two
guys, all those
empty
guys at
ones.
the end there.
I'm pretty sure there's 2 slots right there. Just saying.
That wouldn't be too bad, actually. I wouldn't mind that if he was a Cantina.
Nobody would mind it,
Uh,
but it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, it just isn't going to happen. This is a
Yeah, that's what I'm
future-
saying. Best worst case would be that, but it's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
We'll see what happens. I have no idea. I don't think he's so good that they need to put him on a hard note, in my opinion. I
We'll
don't
be
think
lucky if we
he's
get the
that
veterans
much.
there.
Yeah.
He's as good as Baser Short Trooper. He is going to be a brutal farm.
Well, we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. I'm hoping. I'm crossing my fingers.
I guess my one qualm with him is he has kind of an offensive kit for being a tank, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's going to be to his downfall outside of
Yeah.
the first order team, if that makes sense.
Maybe.
You know, because I kind of
Where
feel
like
like
old
when
Ben, you're like throw him with any 4 rebels and he's good to go, you know, or whatever. Same thing with Stormtrooper Han. With this guy, he's got a little more specificness to like his
That's what I'm
useful
saying. I think
abilities.
I think if you build a stun team, you know, it could be really potent.
Even
Who runs
then,
a
like
stun team?
even then, back up. Even then, if you're building a stun team, first of all, you're already doing something wrong. Second
yeah,
of
who
all,
runs a stun
disagree.
team?
second of all, if your whole team is based off of your tank dealing damage, I feel like you need to reorganize
I
your whole
never
team.
said anything about that. I don't know where you get
Says the guy that runs bounty hunters. By
Yeah, I
the
was
way.
just about to say that.
but I never said anything about your team being based
I
around
feel
him
like-
doing damage. I just said that your team is based around the fact that you've got a number of different stuns on it and a number of different really interesting kits. Like if you look at, you know, your main damage dealer is probably going to be Han Solo on a stun team, right? He would be your main damage dealer. Then you would have R2D2, and you could run, you know, Kylo Ren. And maybe Kylo Ren's the leader. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you have Commander Luke in there, and then do.
I think that team makes much sense.
I think it does. I think.
I
it
don't
makes
see
sense.
where it would be viable in arena. I feel like it's
Why wouldn't
easily
it?
countered.
Because you'd just be stacking stuns on my tank, and I'd be like,
No, not necessarily.
But
No,
anyway, we should theory crafting to the theory crafters if we're going to go down this road. But
Well, it's just thoughts on on that. You know, is all I'm saying is like where could he be used outside of the first order if possible. You know, but I think
I'm sorry, man, but I feel like he might be somewhat viable outside of first order. But I don't see that team you said. I don't see that like being put into a practical play anywhere.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
his viability comes from the fact that he is a tank who's going to be 3-star, pretty easy to get to 4-star, and then you could gear him to gear 10 and 11, and he's going to be a workable tank for you. You know, much like Maze, much like Shore. The fact that everybody gets him for free.
Do you guys think
You know?
that the ships are going to be on a similar cadence to the
Yep.
characters?
I feel like they're going to be released just along with. I feel like they're going to roll out TIE Fighter, the new TIE Fighter, and Kylo just as they roll out the ships.
I think
you're gonna
Kylo's
see-
going to go on a hard node with his ship.
Yep, kind of like Shore.
I think they'll also be in the ship store too. I'm going to guess they'll be a little bit like Phoenix and
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that they're gonna be very rarely in fleet arena. Kind of take up the same slot that Vader and his ship currently do.
So you think
Probably gonna
Kylo
share
could
that.
be in fleet though? You think that's
Oh yeah,
possible?
definitely.
No.
I definitely think he's
Zero.
going to be in fleet.
will
I
be.
think one of them will be. But
One of them.
probably
I'd
not
have to say
Kylo.
that. I'd have to say the pilot will be.
I don't know. They put
And,
some
like,
pretty good characters in fleet. You know, Ahsoka's a good character and she's in fleet. You know,
But that's not a
Jesus.
ship.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna throw in the special forces tie and the actual pilot himself in the same exact slot that the Slave One and the TIE Advanced and all that take.
What do you think about him
Yes.
going in the TIE fighter spot on the bottom left, the actual pilot?
that could happen.
I could see that
eh,
happening, right?
Maybe.
Sergeant pops up every now and then.
I could see Kylo
Depends
Ren
on depends
going-
on how hard they want him to be. If they want us to be a hard farm, I doubt it.
I mean, I could.
I just
see,
feel like nobody's going to go for him. So
Well,
We're talking about the pilot, right?
Yeah.
The,
Special forces pilot, we should specify. Sorry.
the fleet shipments still
Yeah,
take
that's
a
gonna
while.
definitely,
you know?
guys. We're just. I feel like we're just desperately trying to get hope that Kylo is going to be someplace accessible. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I definitely think Kylo is going to be a hard node with his ship, just like he's going to be right there next to Short Trooper.
Well, there isn't any hard nodes there. He would have to be in the dark side or something.
Yeah, they can take a.
The only hope
you
would be if
walk-
they put him and his ship on the same node.
What if they replace 9B? Fucking words. Hard node
Ewok Scout.
9B. Yeah, the one with Ewok Scout. What if they replace that?
Would they
They'll,
do
because
that?
they already did it before. Yeah, they did it before. They'll do it again.
I could have
Yeah,
sworn.
like, who's going to spend 20 energy for one shard of Ewok Scout on 9B? Like what?
I don't know.
It's
Is there
also
any good
bugs
gear on
in
that?
I mean, all of us once, right?
9B doesn't have very good gear.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really farm that one. Think here, the ships. I really liked both the ships, honestly.
Oh yeah. One thing I loved was the animation for the silencer on its basic. How it kind of
Yes.
swirls around. I was like, that's pretty cool.
I enjoyed the hell out of the ship part of it.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
He's got like the
I-
dodge.
I-
too.
Just for the like visually pleasing, I just shoved him in there with the special forces TIE and all the other TIE fighters. I just lined all 5 of them up and it just looked cool.
Do you guys think?
Yeah, I did the same.
Do you guys think that the ships are going to be meta changing in the ships arena in a big way? I think that they will be.
I saw some people saying that they think Kylo ship's going to be the CLS of ships.
Quite possible.
Oh yeah, no. Like, look at ships. What are ships lacking right now? That's still in arena a little is stuns. The ships don't. There's not very many stun mechanics within ships, and the fact that Kylo has a stun on his basic, that's pretty reliable. I feel like he's definitely going to be. He's going to be useful.
He gets so fast.
Well, I think Kylo's ship's going to deal some scary damage considering on his ability, he gains plus 10 speed and 10% of offense, which is stacking every time he attacks a target locked enemy or he gets attacked. So with that there, you deal in scary damage, especially considering his basic deals a debuff. And whenever you can't remember the debuff off the top of my head right now, but when you use his ability, especially
Stun.
there's a stun. Whenever you attack a stun,
Yeah, ship stuns on a basic if they have more than 50% turn meter.
his special, whenever you attack a stun, does more damage as well, which is just going to rip things apart, which makes it very viable, I think.
Like, maybe it's kind of my favorite ship right now. The other TIE fighter, not so much, but the Kylo ship's pretty.
You know what
cool.
it kind of reminds me of? I mean, it's a little bit different, but it's kind of like the Darth Maul of ships. Like when you kill a guy, you like gain buffs and like you get stronger and stronger. If that makes sense, when you last hit a guy.
One thing I see him being used is maybe like with Tarkin, and I see Tarkin on that team as the capital ship.
Yeah.
Just for more pure damage output, and then behind that running, like if you just want to go pure damage, I'd have to say Vader, Boba Fett, him, maybe one of the 2 TIE fighters, like the TIE fighter pilot or first order TIE fighter.
You definitely need first order TIE fighter on that team for sure.
And then 5s. If you want to go pure damage, those are the 5 starters I'd throw out there.
I don't know if that would be a good team, like in the top of Fleet Arena. Like I don't think that would work. You need something.
Yeah, no big.
The team already works. You're just adding something on a team that already works.
No. Running 5s and no.
Yeah, 5s absolutely goes with that team.
I'm not
5s
saying
is
it
the
doesn't
number one
go with
ship.
the team. I'm saying you don't have a tank. You don't have any kind of control.
Oh
there.
shoot! Yeah, no, you're right.
You know.
Okay, either take out Boba or 5s and put them in your reserves or whatever, and then throw bigs in there.
Reinforcement. Like I use 5s right out of the gate, and like as the first reinforcement, and I love them.
Much more a fan of the control team. I know I like the kind of team where you go in and you're controlling the map with Thrawn's ship, and then combining that with the Shore Trooper ship.
TIE Reaper.
TIE Reaper, and then with Kylo's ship, it's even more control. You've got a stun there on a basic, and there's a lot of control going on, and I think building a team that is focused less on damage and more on controlling what the other team can and can't do will be really potent and powerful.
Yeah, this is where you and me are looking at it differently. You're seeing the control aspect of him. I'm seeing that as a bonus. I'm just looking at the pure damage output.
Well, see, I'm
Which is-
a control fiend. I'm all about control in every game I play. You know, if it's a card game or if it's this game, those types of things. Like, I love control type stuff, and so it's always fun to manipulate the other team and what they can and can't do, and what your team does as well.
Run him with Scimitar.
Yeah, Scimitar is a good one for control too.
That's nobody said that. That's what I want to run with him. I want to put that, and then he just counterattacks like a
Put
mob.
buff
dude.
on him. Yeah, put the buff on
He's
him.
gonna counterattack, stun everybody and stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and then he's gonna and say they're all target locked. He's gonna be getting stacking offense over and over and over again. And then say they bring a reinforcement in, and he just uses a special, insta kills it. 100-0 instantly with that special.
I'm starting to really like ships a lot more now because of all of these because of these new ships and because of the TIE Reaper.
I'm not gonna like ships until they add all the bounty hunter ships they're missing.
I'm enjoying
I don't
it.
even
Or they give us somewhere cool to use them. That'd be nice too.
There is nothing good with ships because they haven't changed. They're just adding new ships. They either need to add some kind of a PvE content that's just doing. Well, it's been coming for a long time.
No, I mean,
Unfortunately,
I believe because we're getting a lot of normal content for the game. We're getting the Dark Side Territory battles. We're getting the Guild Wars. As soon as all that stuff is done, ships is going to be the focus. It just is.
When is that going to take place?
Probably during the summer of next
6 months.
Summer of next year.
year. That's something to look forward to in a year. What I'm saying is ships have been out a year and they have not changed anything substantively with how the ships work. And it's like, for me, it's boring the hell out of me. So I think we either need a raid or we need some kind of PvE component.
Like ships wise, I just do one challenge, do two if it's the Zeta challenge, do my one arena for the day, and then that's it. Don't ignore ships the rest of the day.
So I used to be that way, Face, and I've started doing ships. Now that I've got the TIE Reaper, I've actually started really enjoying ships a lot more, honestly. Just that one ship has made me, like, change. I've been messing around with different teams, and I used to, like, just be bored of ships, but I'm starting to have more fun with it now. Like, I'm starting to enjoy it a lot more, and messing around with it.
I just freaking pop on, auto battle a couple plebs, number one, call it a day.
To each their own.
That's ships for me.
Guys, I play arena, but I tend to auto ships. Do you guys do the same thing?
Yeah, totally.
I play out my ships battles.
The only thing I auto is Rancor. That's the only thing I auto.
Wish I could. My team hits for, I'd say, like 6 million right now. That's the highest I've gotten on Rancor, like actually playing it, but autoing it, I get 144,000, something stupid like that.
I can solo it when I'm not autoing it. When I auto it, I usually get to the last phase and die. Is what happens.
Yeah, no, I do like no damage. Like I could probably just put my Boba Fett in there and do more damage than if I autoed my whole team.
I don't know what I did right, but the other day I just threw a bunch of randoms in there and I got like 8 million.
Random,
Wait,
come
dude,
on. You know
wait,
you use
dude.
Zeta Vader.
I don't have a Zeta Vader.
You don't have a Zeta Vader?
No.
What do you have?
You seem like the one guy that would.
I think
what?
that I used Vader as my leader without the Zeta.
That's insanity.
Yeah, I totally didn't even look. I just looked and it was like, hey, number one. I guess nobody soloed it that week for some reason. And
That's funny.
it's freaking number one. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
So
But awesome too. Congrats on that.
yeah,
one, bro.
congrats. That's.
But I think it was Thrawn, Tarkin, TFP, and I don't know who else.
That could work. Yeah, I could see that working.
In descending order, like gear wise.
I think as soon as I get Thrawn, I'll probably be able to auto solo it. Probably.
Gotta have
no,
the Zeta.
Thrawn-
Gotta have the Zeta.
Thrawn's auto doesn't really work out because for some reason, whenever he's fractured, everyone refuses to use special attacks. It's really weird like that.
I don't mind that.
That's the whole point. The whole point
Fucking
is Thrawn fractures, and then everyone just spams special attacks.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
and you
we'll
keep
see.
their turn meter at 0.
Well, we'll see. I'll let you know when I get him and I test it out with the.
Well, I mean,
curriculum
I have
use.
it and I do it every week. That's how it works. I'm telling you.
Well, I wouldn't use him as the leader. I'd use him as the support with Vader as the leader, personally.
Yeah, well, if you have the Zeta Vader,
Time
but
out,
the other
Chris.
team is use him as leader, and yeah, it works.
Did you want to say, brother?
I was just gonna say that I've just been using CLS and Jin autoing it.
Why not? Well, do
I
you
don't have
Han
CLS.
Solo?
Don't talk to me.
Do you have Han Solo, Sif?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Actually, what I
definitely
did
if you're a
last
rebel
time-
pleb, there are easy ways to do it, but we're just saying.
Yeah,
What I
exactly.
did
Dark
last
side.
time was I did
Us dark
Tebow
side.
lead. Tebow lead, CLS, Jin, Rex, and Qui-Gon.
See, I personally am
Get
gonna.
done.
I'm gonna switch to CLS. It's probably gonna be a Jin lead with CLS, and Han Solo is probably what I'll do.
There's a new 5-minute team. Did you guys see that?
What is it?
Who's on the 5-minute team?
It's I'm pretty sure it's Wedge, Biggs, Raid Han, CLS, and BB-8.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna have BB-8.
And it's like 4 minutes and 50 seconds solo.
It's insanity, man.
They just murder
Is it
Like,
consistent though? Is it consistent? Does he do it every single time, or did he
I
only?
don't know,
show
man.
once?
The video is like 4 minutes long. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but it was pretty
The
awesome.
problem is I've tried some of these teams on these videos that are like, yeah, do this in like 10 minutes, and it's like, no, it fails. Like
Well, they
You
got
have
like
the
mega
mods,
mods and stuff too.
yeah, that's all that.
The team itself is less than the mods half the time.
Yeah.
It's just still
guys-
it shows the potential for the ceiling, you know.
So with Kylo Ren, here's what they did. They made it so his AoE cannot crit because there is an infinite loop. There would have been an infinite loop with the new Kylo Ren and the old Kylo Ren. With basically, if you crit 5 times, then that's 20% per crit turn meter from the new Kylo Ren's leadership, and then he would just go again, AoE, go again, AoE, go again, AoE, go again, and so it would be an infinite loop and it would never end. So they just removed the crit. How do we feel about that? What do you think?
I mean,
But they
I
needed
think
to do it.
the damage output is exactly the same as before, except for now it just doesn't crit.
So
damage-
it doesn't bother you. You don't feel like it was a nerf.
It's not. First of all, I think it's actually a buff because now it doesn't trigger Barriss and Kenobi, and it doesn't trigger any of that, but it still does the same exact amount of damage.
Okay.
And I don't even. My Kylo Ren's so insanely low gear, like I don't even use him. But I'm just saying, I think it's a buff, and I think Kylo Ren's better off now. But like pure mechanics wise, it's pretty much exactly the same.
This is like real ability that you used. If you had the Zeta, you were just spamming.
I guess what I don't like about it is this. Yeah, it'll probably pan out the same, but what I don't like about it is this: is they made a new character, and they had to change this old one so that it didn't break everything. It's like you knew Kylo was there. All of this was just sitting there for how long? I just don't understand why they have to make something overlap like that.
This is something I'm scared of too, Furious. For the future of the game, if they do this a lot in the future, and I'm not saying they will, I'm just saying if they do, where they come out with a new character, then they rework an old one and make it worse because of said new character, that's not good. Just try to design a new character in such a way that you don't have to.
That
do
it doesn't
that.
break the game that
Yeah.
already exists.
That you don't have to do that. That's not a good way to make a game, to build a game out.
Yeah, it's just a
It's
weird
a pretty-
philosophy, and it is a nerf. Like, for example, just this is really random, but I use Boba Fett lead with my Xylo, and I throw like 3 other randoms in there in the tank, like in whatever phase, just because it's a little damage boost, and I get like 1,000,000. It does nothing though; it's just a random team. But every now and then, I use the AOE when there's a bunch of turrets up, and it crits really hard under my Boba Fett lead, and it's going to do less
Yeah,
damage.
but
now.
did you read what they actually
Damage is
changed?
increased. Yeah,
Yeah, but
damage
it's not
is
gonna
increased.
it's not gonna benefit from my leadership ability that adds crit damage already and crit though.
And it won't benefit from any of the first order crit either because
Yeah,
you
so
won't
all
hit
of
the
these
advantage.
things that add advantage or whatever, like they don't give me anything. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Does
I
that make
guess-
sense?
The only other mechanic like that in the game, if you wanted to make an example, is the Nihilist lead, where it's like, oh, now I can't crit, now I can't receive heals, but that's a leadership ability.
Yeah,
And now-
and it applies to everything.
And
not
now,
just one
just
ability.
if I'm Kylo Ren and I use my thing, I just can't crit.
This
like,
attack
what?
cannot crit. Yep, that's what it says.
That's like this is bogus. It's not even a good attack.
The only reason you would use it is for retribution.
Well,
So-
you do get turn meter or whatever in some of those dynamics, but it's useless, really. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah,
He
I
would
don't
be
think
almost
that-
better with. He would almost be better if they just took the whole ability out.
Yeah. Well,
Like
the
if he
ability
if
was
he only
one
had
that
2
was-
abilities now, he'd be better AI. He'd be way better in arena, I think.
Oh, you're 100%
Really good
right.
point.
You're 100%
Yeah.
right there.
yeah.
Well,
that
that's my
ability-
new idea. They should just drop that whole ability.
Well, what would they replace it with? They can't just get rid of an ability.
No, nothing.
No,
just
get,
drop it.
get rid of it. There's nothing there in that slot, and
That's what- That's
yeah,
why
that's
he
it.
sucks in the arena.
Yeah, he gets a 1-2 punch kit, and then when he's in the arena and the AI plays him, he does one or the other. Man, he'll crush it.
What's the
I'll tell you-
problem? What is the problem with Xylo on defense?
He
doesn't
uses
know how
his
to-
ability.
He uses
That ability.
lash out. He uses lash out every time.
He uses lash out until he can't anymore. And
Exactly.
and that was the loop though, was with the AI. That's the funny thing is the loop wasn't so much with a player doing it, but with when they went up against the AI would just do lash out, and then it would do lash out again and again and again.
Yeah,
And
that's
like,
all the AI does.
and it was funny because like it would totally murder some teams, but other teams like Luke teams would just like murder him, you know, with the AI messing up like that.
Here's a team I think it would be really cool. So the new Kylo Ren Unmasked lead with the old Kylo Ren, and then the First Order Stormtrooper, and then, you know, one more First Order guy, maybe Phasma, and then either Zaris or Thrawn. I think that's going to be a pretty cool team. That's it. I'm leaving it at that.
And on that note, bug fixes. Yeah. All right. So Shred Imwe is tenacity up. Doesn't count with an ally with the plague. And then Cassian's crippling shot no longer triggers counterattacks if Daze is dropped on it. So makes sense.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
think it's not working
these are
as intended.
kind of a big deal for me, and for a lot of people, I think, because I mean, I think Chewit Imwe wasn't
not
working properly, and on that case, and that's actually kind of a big deal. Because
These aren't really game changing.
well, no,
You're
no,
right,
here's
yeah,
the
no,
thing.
no.
Here's the
The
thing.
forums are
Can
not
I-
in revolt.
Can I? No, I'm not saying it's an angry thing. I'm saying it's a happy thing, because here's the thing: is Cassian Andor not triggering counterattacks if he applies Daze? That's a big deal. I was losing in territory battles because of that, and now I won't lose in territory battles as much as I was.
And my Cassian just dies.
I have a Gear 10 Cassian, so mine doesn't just die. But yeah. But I'm just saying that
You're cool.
well, they're in a pretty good place, you know, my Rogue One. But yeah, so
Seems like they made these things work as they're intended to, right? Does everybody agree? I don't really think it's not much to talk about. Really, they
Yeah,
just
I mean,
made it
I
work as it was
melt-
intended.
I have garbage. I have garbage Rogue One and them in arena, so this doesn't make a difference to me at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I said Cassian
Um,
Andor, and I was like, who?
Who?
Oh,
who?
man,
He's
come
in
on.
this game?
Cassian's a really good attacker.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he gonna shoot somebody in the back? One of
Yeah,
his
like,
friends,
what?
Maybe.
You're terrible.
Hey, I'm just saying that's a rebel thing. At least the Sith do it face to face. Rebels shoot in
Exactly.
the back.
Like, yeah, come on, Darkseid. We have balls here. Like, we'll go face to face with you. We're gonna take you on like men.
So
I'm just sitting back.
I
in
don't
the
know if
sniper-
that's
sniper.
necessarily true, but we're gonna go to the community spotlight video.
Yeah. Speaking of dark side champs,
this
Oh,
is a really
fuck yeah,
cool
dude.
little video here. What you know, Urban Blaster Assassin Master. I love him. He's awesome. What he did was he
Oh,
took
yeah.
his Gar Saxon to Gear 12 and maxed out absolutely everything on his Gar Saxon. And he took him into Arena, he took him in Galactic War, he took him in all over the freaking place in the game and used him.
All right, but before we say anything about this guy, just a shit ton of respect out to this man. Like, huge respect. Like, this man is like me. Take some random. He takes Gar Saxon. I just, bounty hunters, for example, max him out. This man just takes Gar Saxon, goes all in, balls to the wall, puts everything on the line pretty much. Puts Gar Saxon out there, and it pretty much pays off.
Well, it's
So,
it's the community spotlight of the week for a reason. It's unique, it's different, and
yeah,
it's
like
something.
that's what that's the biggest respect I have, because people who are just running COS and stuff, like, I'm just not a fan of meta. Like, that's the thing. I'm just not a fan of just meta in general, and the fact that he's going off meta, just an insane amount of respect.
Also, I want to give him props. The video is hilarious. So, I mean, if you want a really funny laugh, he's a hilarious guy, and he just, through the whole video, he gives you really good laughs.
yeah. When we were talking about what was going to be the community spotlight video for this week, as soon as I opened up that video, it became very clear what my vote was going to be for when I opened it up. What's up, bros? It's your best bud in the whole freaking galaxy. We got Garsax at 100% maxed out because he's got the best hair in the whole freaking universe. And I was like,
Yes,
wow.
sir.
I was like,
Yes.
this man.
Yeah, if you didn't know that, that was his reason that he picked Garsax, and it's because he's got the best hair in the game.
Good reason, though.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Pretty solid
Hey,
reason.
Totally
Man.
true. So I was like, man, I love this guy.
You
And
gotta
he actually does
do-
pretty well.
And this is my contention in the game with all the people that are like, meta, chase the meta. It's like, no, I want to, you're playing the game to have fun. You got to do what you got to do to have fun and chase after what you enjoy and what you like. And that's exactly what Urban Blaster did. He went after Garsaxon because he liked his hair. And I'm all for that, man.
Yeah, man, 100%. Even like on that same note, I'm invested so hard in this Bounty Hunters and Scoundrels. If I tried to chase the meta at all, then by the time I actually hit to a usable point, the meta would already have shifted.
Well, and that's the thing is, I went hard on Ahsoka and really got her up really fast, and she's been great for me, and I've been really enjoying it. And a lot of people don't have her; they didn't work on her, but I'm saying, I really enjoy her, and I use her all over the place in the game. So yeah, I mean, it's just that type of thing.
I was pretty pleased. I 7-starred Ahsoka, and I think I got the chance to platoon her in this past territory battle.
You're
She's not
killing
good
me.
right yet.
You're killing me, platoon. You're killing me, man.
She's not geared. It
Oh,
was
That's what
okay.
she's for.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I have her at Gear 11 and Zeta'd, so...
That's why I've been bumping her up, just so I could drop her in the platoon.
Oh my god, you're killing me, guys.
Yeah, isn't that what Trude's for?
I build an
I'm telling you
entire
right now, I
team.
drop my Trude in there every time. I'm high-fiving homies.
I build an entire team around her for that mode. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's an
see,
amazing team.
For me, a good rebel moment is when I drop them into the thing and everybody's pleased with me, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't even have to use that scrub.
Yeah, I don't have to take him into battle.
Man.
Wage, who is
Yeah.
this guy? Wage, who is this guy? Platoon.
This actually transitions really good into the next little tiny community spotlight. It's not a video, and we'll link it in the description, but it is a nice chart that was made by the Ski Patrol, the Hoth Ski Patrol, about territory battles enemy overview. It's a very cool little chart that
Super useful.
is super useful, super helpful. So we wanted to say thank you, a big shout out to the Hoth Ski Patrol team there for making it. And if you need help with your territory battles going into the next one here in a few days here, check it out, guys. It's a really great thing. What do you guys think about this chart?
I mean, I don't just play this. Like, I'm like an actual gamer. I have a PC and everything. I'm a pretty serious gamer, and I love it when I go onto Reddit, go onto the Reddit for one of my favorite games, and I see someone who's just dedicated so much time into making some sort of chart or graphic or whatever for the community, purely so they can just to make their lives easier. Like,
Just to help them out,
I love it when people do that. I love it when people take time out of their day just to take a game they love and just completely dissect the information inside of it, just so for everyone to see.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Well, what I liked about it was that I could just see with relative ease that like all the mobs really do look the same. I was right the whole time. And it's about how far their backs are bent to determine what they're going to do to you. And you go with the one that's holding his gun wonky. That's who you go for. He's going to mess you up.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
Oh my god, you're great, Brendo. You're awesome. The other part of this chart that I love is it shows you the characters that put days on, which is really helpful as well.
We all know which one the best one there is, though. Obviously, it's
Zeb?
veteran Chewie.
Oh my
I thought you were going to say low gray. I just assumed.
No, veteran Chewie, because he's a scoundrel. Close behind him, Captain.
I love it how you need
the only reason Captain Han is a notch below veteran Chewie is because veteran Chewie is only a scoundrel, and Captain Han is a scoundrel and a rebel, so I have less respect for him.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, here's the problem. Rey, the funny thing about Rey is she can apply days, but only with
her Zeta.
Which
yeah.
is like, what? Get out of here. Who's going to use that?
I actually forgot that Chewie applied days on a basic. I haven't used Chewie in so long that...
No, it's not Clone Wars Chewie. It's the veteran smuggler Chewie.
Oh, is it veteran smuggler Chewie?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy smokes, Chewie's useful. No,
Nope.
he's not.
Nope, you're still wrong. I love Scoundrels. I love Scoundrels, and I'd rather use Portia than Chewie.
So for me, the top three are really, you know, the Han Solo, since you need him anyways, Zeb, since you need him anyways, and really, you know, K2SO, since you probably need him anyways. So, you know, those are the top three Dazers for that.
BB-8.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Hold on, BB-8's there, guys.
Yeah, but BB-8 is like, I mean, are you really going to use him for days? B, okay, the other three you actually need for the other modes anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like like Logro, for example. If you're running Ewok, hell yeah, dude, he's gonna be an amazing option. But who's really gonna use him? Like, he's there for you to throw into a platoon. That's it.
Absolutely.
You have to put his Zeta on Ray. I mean,
And who's gonna Zeta Ray? Just why?
I don't know.
Yeah, especially
Like,
with,
even in a resistance team, you put one Zeta on Finn, and you don't even need Ray on the team at all, and it's
maybe
gonna
a
be
Kraken. Maybe a
Bro,
Kraken.
But no.
bro.
There's
Krakens
a lot of
can't
people
buy
that
Zetas,
say
dude.
I know, but
Right.
There's a lot of people that
go on, Brendan.
I have just as much Zetas as any Kraken. Like, they have no way to get Zetas.
like. Here's the deal. There's a lot of people that Zeta Ray for Phase 4 in the tank, though. Like that's a legit
I forgot about
boost
that.
in damage.
That was
I'm saying solely for TB, just so you can inflict a daze.
Nobody would do that. That's insane.
That's insanely
The
stupid.
raid. You don't even need it in the raid anymore. Really, you could get just so many damage you could get from other phases. You don't.
The
Need
amount
it.
of time you could invest into Ray, you could just invest into CLS instead, and he'd do significantly better than Ray in P4. Like the one thing she's good at.
Yep.
It's just not
Yeah,
worth it.
or Glow Stick Ray, dude, coming up. You know,
Oh
It
yeah,
should be an
Glowstick
Omega.
Ray, you're not wrong.
she's gonna do something somewhere.
I doubt it's gonna be days though. I mean, come on, really.
Bro, she's probably just gonna one-shot the tank. I swear to God, like throw her in a Jawa. You're gonna throw her in like a Jawa and Nuke Gunray or some crap, and she's just gonna all 5 phases. You know, even though there's 4. You know what I mean? Like she's gonna take it to a whole nother phase and solo that one too. Like,
Oh man.
gonna be bullshit.
Phase 5, 100 droids.
Yeah, right. You're gonna be looking at the max damage. You'd be like, I didn't even know the tank had that much life. Like, what the
It
shit?
doesn't. It doesn't.
Right? I mean, that's how it was when CLS came out. You just put him in there and people are soloing Rancor on day 1, just him. I'm like, really?
Rancor final phase, Job of the Hutt. Yeah.
Yeah. whatever.
Unlocks next phase.
bonus tier for the hat. All right, guys.
Like, it
well,
wouldn't even surprise me. You know it's gonna be crazy. I mean, right? Come on.
Yep. All right, Brendo, go on.
moving along here. I want to turn it over to Face here for some
Hey, what's up?
sit down for some bounty hunter chit chat.
All right, guys, I'm Face. You guys know me. You know I love the bounty hunters. Just want to give you a quick rundown because people have definitely been asking for it, even though they haven't. But pretty much how I use bounty hunters, how I run them. Pretty much the basis, people really doubt them because they don't understand how they work. But the whole basis of bounty hunters is to run Boba lead, obviously. And all you really got to do is you can counter every single type of team because each bounty hunter in themselves is so unique in their kits and they all have something to do with everything. Like Zol, for example, you have a bunch of evasion down, and at the same time you have Dengar, who feeds off of when his attacks get evaded. Whenever he's evaded, he gains a bunch of turn meter and he can go again almost immediately. And that's the thing. Each team you go against with a bounty hunter team, you have the tools to get rid of whatever their strongest characters are and just keep moving forward. The thing about Boba's lead is it makes it makes them all so insanely tanky. All my bounty hunters right now, they're rolling with around 100k total health and protections because I have max potency mods on all of them. All the potency is just the most, like my Boba Fett, for example, his potency is at 111.78%, which is madness on any other character. but all of that, or half of that, is being converted into health for everyone. So just max out potency to make them insanely tanky. And then they also gain 15 speed for each debuffed enemy. So that's just kind of like everyone just has 75 speed pretty much because everyone's always going to be debuffed no matter what with this team. And then on top of that, they gain turn meter 15% whenever a thermal detonator explodes. So you have Zam as fast as possible. She goes first every time. My Zam is pretty much faster than most other characters on my arena shard. She throws down thermal detonators, which gives her speed up. Everyone else gets increased speed, and then Zam will just blow up a thermal detonator. And with the mechanic on her basic, she gains turn meter based on the amount of scoundrels on her team. So she goes again immediately, blows up all the thermal detonators, and that's 5 total, giving everyone 75% turn meter. So it's almost like you're running a Sith assassin type thing, where she takes a turn and boom, now your whole team gets to go. You apply debuffs, and then after that, it's just the increased crit damage and crit chance from Boba's lead. Then it's just melting them all with pure damage. The only things you got to worry about are people like Rex. They kind of counter you. All you got to do is make sure you get rid of Rex as soon as possible, and make sure Dengar is a insanely good asset on this team. People like don't really like him because he's a bad character. He applies tenacity down on everyone consistently with his AoE attack. He also applies stun and he calls assists. He's just insanely useful, especially against someone like Rex. And just that's Zam. She's there for thermal detonators, increased turn meter, and just debuffs and dealing with Zal. She's useful for that. And what I like to run behind them is IG-88 because he's just pure damage. And he also inflicts healing immunity, which helps you with Xeris. And I used to use Greedo, but I actually dropped him out and replaced him with OG Han because he's a scoundrel. I'm not going against my morals. Not because he's a rebel. I ignore the rebel tag. I wish I could just program my phone to delete the rebel tag off of him. But instead, I use him because he's a scoundrel, so it still gives Zam the extra turn meter boost, and he hits for the most massive damage under a Boba lead. I hit him on his basic. He consistently hits for a total of 30k on each attack. His special, he hits for like 40k, and he also bumps everyone else's crit chance. So those 5 I love to run because you get the most insane damage. They're extremely versatile, so I've been using them since Boba got a rework. They're extremely versatile. They've lasted me top 100 through every meta, and that's pretty much it for the bounty hunters.
All right, just a couple follow-up questions for that.
Yeah, of course.
Flush out Dengar for me, man. What's the incentive?
Oh my God, Dengar is such a complicated character. Just a side note, this team doesn't
like a complicated scotch. Dengar.
All right,
the scotch
so his basic attack.
Except I like scotch.
All right, his basic attack. If the enemy's debuffed, then he has a 60% chance to call anyone to assist. So he usually calls someone to assist. And if it's a scoundrel, which everyone on my team is, it's guaranteed to be a critical hit. So that just increases the massive damage. His special attack, it does a decent amount of damage, like 10k on a crit, so it's not that bad. But the big thing is it inflicts speed down for 3 turns, which is a pretty long time. But the big thing is if they have 50% turn meter or more, then they're just stunned right there, which is what I mainly use that for. It's really useful against counterattacking teams. So CLS, I use it against him sometimes. The big thing is his AoE. He pretty much inflicts AoE, and based on the amount of critical hits he gets, that's the amount of debuffs he inflicts. On 1 critical hit, everyone who is critically hit gets tenacity down for 3 turns. On 2 critical hits, it's damage over time on everyone who is critically hit. And on 3 critical hits, everyone gets reduced by 50% turn meter. I have him maxed out on potency, but as secondaries, I'm running a lot of crit on him. He has a total of, let me just check really quickly. Yeah, he has a 60% crit chance, and on top of Boba's lead, he has a 70% crit chance. So he pretty much hits 4 to 5 crits. So those people who are critically hit all get tenacity down and damage over time for 3 turns, and they get 50% turn meter removed. And say you're going against Zol, this is where his unique comes in. This one's really complicated. So whenever he is critically hit, he gains stealth for 2 turns. He's usually the last one alive because of that mechanic. Whenever someone evades his attack, he gains 60% turn meter. And then whenever he suffers a negative status effect, he gains tenacity up for 2 turns. So he's just extremely versatile in that way. Plus, he is if I maxed him out, he would be the tankiest, but he's actually the second tankiest at, I believe it's a total of like 100. No, I believe he's at 90k right now. That's it for Dengar. Yeah.
All right, I've always wanted to farm Dengar just because, like, when I started the game, he was sort of used in rank war teams. So, but I never got the chance to do it. So
yeah, he's just cool. You know, he has a useful kit for dealing with, specifically for Zol and CLS.
Now let's look at what we're doing in the game, where we're at, what we're farming, how things are going. And I'd like to know here in alphabetical order. Face, where are you at? What are you doing?
I'm just under 1 P right now. I've been just trying to bump that up a bit.
Wait, say that again. 1 point what?
1.2.
Okay.
Gonna make fun of me for that?
No, it broke up. I couldn't hear it.
Yeah. I know. I was joking.
What's the point of doing power? I don't really know what power does.
It's just, you know,
it's a way to measure progression.
Yeah, it is kind of. Right now, I'm just trying to gear bounty hunters a bit, but since they're all requiring like gold gear and raid gear, they're kind of on the side, just slowly doing that. Mostly just Phoenix and those New Hope guys, just so I can get them. I'm not going to use CLS I'm not going to use CLS ever, just to get them. But star-wise, I'm just trying to get Nihilus up. He's, I believe, like 50 out of 100, so he's pretty close. I've been out of the stores so far. I've just been kind of trying to get, as I said, I'm getting HK47 and Cup from Arena. I'm getting Mob Enforcer, and the only real thing I'm working on star-wise is trying to get all my Slave 1 and all my TIE fighters, both of them, to 7 stars. And that's pretty much it for me. Bounty hunters for life.
All right, Furious.
I think my Ray's at about, I don't know, halfway to 6 stars right now, so I'm trying to finish her up. I need another 20 shards on my Finn to get him 7 stars. I need another 30 on my First Order Stormtrooper, and then I should have all of that sorted out. I already said I'm using my crystals daily to get Veteran, Han, and Chewie, so I could get a little bit of a boost there. Other than that, I'm doing the last few 7-star ships I need so I can get my Executrix to 7 stars. And other than that, just putting gear on people for territory battles.
GP?
It's like 1.2 or something like that.
All right.
I'll check and verify that, Furious.
It's at least 1.2.
How sure are you of that number?
100%.
If we're doing power, are you doing this right, or are you
Galactic
doing a little
power. Full galactic power.
accurate, or is he fluffing it up a little bit?
All right, I got 1, 2, 3.
He has
3,
1.233 galactic power.
No, I'll send you a picture.
I'm looking at it right now. He has 1,230,000.
All right.
Screenshots, but let's
Mighty
keep rolling.
Glens.
I'm currently sitting at 460,000 GP, which is actually still under my guild requirements. Yeah, I'm the guild leader, so you know. Screw the rules.
What guild are you in?
Screw the rules. I have money.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're one of those. You're one of
Sigma
those guys. you're one of those guys in Kai.
Yeah. No, I joined Kai when I was like 90 GP, no 90k GP, not 90.
90k. My Boba Fett's at 20k.
Shh.
All right, sorry. Keep going.
Mighty Glenn's turn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go.
I'm currently giving my Phoenix the last finishing touches so I can get Thrawn at 7-star, and I'm trying to get the New Hope guy so I can hopefully be prepared for CLS if R2D2 comes back. And then ships, I'm trying to get the ships ready to be able to get Thrawn's capital ship, which is a big ask.
Is that it, brother?
Yeah.
All right, Seth, what do you got?
Right, so my GP is now 1.65 million. So moving up in the world, and on this territory battles, I managed to score 111 combat mission waves. So I'm kind of considering that done because I think without a Jin Zeta, I can't really do any better in the Rogue One mission anyway.
That's
So
really, really good for your power, for like any power. That's really good.
yeah, I was pretty pleased. Yeah, so now I'm kind of working on dark side a bit more, and part of that's going to be is me working on first order, and obviously that's also for getting BB-8 for Ray. So I should be able to get first order ready. I think we spoke about it a little earlier. It's going to be a bit of a push, but hopefully I'll make it. I'm thinking I might have to put a Zeta on Kylo, but I don't know. Past that, I'm working on unlocking all the ships and getting them up as high as possible, just to boost my ship GP a bit and maybe place it a bit higher in arena. And then, I'm looking to work on my empire in the future, but that's kind of a project for next month.
All right, Valen.
All right. Well, I'm just working on. I finished last week. I finished off the Phoenix. From what I was working on, I basically just need to get Hera to gear 10, and I'm waiting for raid gear, and then she's done, essentially. And I'm passively farming gear from the stores. From the territory battle store and from the shard store there. And in terms of gear, that's all I'm doing. I'm not really gearing anyone except just passively gearing, finishing gear on Hera and Sabine. And from there on out, I'm still farming Shore Trooper bays from hard nodes. I also am doing First Order Stormtrooper from hard nodes. I've decided I'm just going to get him to 5 stars because I do want to unlock BB-8 just to have him unlocked, increase my GP, all that good stuff. Which, by the way, my GP now is 1,686,000 at this point, so I went up quite a lot since last time, which is nice. And I'm still, man, I'll tell you what, the First Order pilot is taking forever to show up for me in the fleet. But yeah, he's kind of sitting pretty right now at 64 of 100. And the 64 is because of the stupid Galactic War giving me random shards of him. But yeah, and then... So I actually should only need about, 20 or 30 more for him to be done with what you're getting from him. First Order Officer, I only need 2 more drops of him to get him maxed out. And I'll be good with the First Order at that point for me. And then I am also working on, like I said, I'm still working on Resistance guys. 7-starring them out, essentially. And they're almost done too. I just need my First Order, or sorry, not my First Order, my Resistance. I basically need, let me look at it here. The Ray Scavengers at 24 of 100. I'm looking at Poe Dameron is going pretty slow at 35 of 100. Almost done with the pilot, and the troopers, he's kind of crappy. He's at 45 of 85 right now because he doesn't show up that often for me in the guild shipments there. And I'm sort of doing Finn, going to unlock Finn from the cantina there. And that's basically what I'm working on. I'm not doing much else in the game right now.
All right, and then I recently hit 1.5 million power, and I'm kind of farming a lot of ships that I don't have unlocked, like the Millennium Falcon. So there's a lot of like fake power that gets attached to that. So that should be some easy boosts there. Otherwise, I'm farming Shore Trooper and Krennic off hard nodes with oddly enough a little bit of Jedi Knight Anakin thrown in because I never maxed him out. Doing Death Trooper off of Cantina nodes, and really I pretty much froze farming anything out of stores, but I buy Scarif Rebel Pathfinder and Grievous when they show up in ships. Since I have a lot of guild currency, I'm buying low gray when he pops up. But other than that, I'm really not, just kind of saving currency and trying to get ready for Ray. So the other thing is gear. I'm really kind of hoarding gear. So I have a couple, I think I have like 2 stun guns, 3 stun cuffs, 4 or 5 carbonis. So it's just about doing that. I'm about to unlock Kenobi, which is kind of big, and I'm kind of debating whether or not I should just gear him or if I should save the gear for Ray. So that's my big question. And otherwise, that's pretty much it. I have a question for you guys. New subject here. Talked about Ray last week. Where are you guys at? Are you guys feeling like you're ready for this? Are you taking the dive?
No.
I think I might make it.
You think you might, Sith? Tell me. What's going on?
Well, so I'm farming Captain Han. Basically, the push is going to be for Kylo. My Frost is like halfway to 6-star, so I should make it in about a month. I think that's going to be close enough. And then my First Order officer is about the same, and I'm refreshing hard in Cantina, so he's going to be there pretty soon as well. The issue is Kylo. He's not unlocked yet. Now I'm working on Captain Han first because we're getting Rolo 7-star next TB.
What?
So I'm going to need Captain Han 7-star for the special mission. But I'm refreshing 3 times a day now, so I should have him done in about 5 days. And then I'm going to switch to Kylo.
Dude, I just want to say, I'm so proud of you.
I
feel better about my spot hearing you.
I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah, I'm not even trying.
So the only
Yes.
thing I am
Wow,
gonna
really?
do, the one thing I am gonna do, is I'm going to put try to get BB-8, unlock him at 5 stars just to have him. But yeah.
Yeah, I already have BB-8 unlocked at 5 stars. I don't care enough about Jedi Ray. Like, she's gonna be OP. I already know that. But
Bro, it's
just
glow stick
too
Ray. Get it
much
right.
for me. What?
She's not a Jedi, bro. She's
Light-
not
Lightsaber
Fuck you.
Ray,
Lightsaber
dude.
Ray.
Jedi
Whatever, I
are
don't
cool.
care.
She's a pleb, dude. She's not even a Jedi. She never will be. She's a
Yeah,
lady with
like,
a glow
you
stick.
don't understand how swamped I am at the moment. I'm still trying to grind. I need 47 more shards for Ezra, 25 more shards for Hera, and then I still need to bump Old Ben all the way up. And I haven't farmed mods in 4 months. I haven't done a single mod battle in forever. I've been grinding the hell out of Cantina. It's so annoying. But right after I get Old Ben up, then I'm gonna move straight to Kylo, and I'm gonna be bumping Kylo up to 5 stars just so he's usable, just so I can get that offense challenge, which I still haven't done yet. Like, I am so unbelievably swamped right now. I don't want Rey to be another thing I have to do, so I'm just not even gonna care about her.
Wow, I'm surprised. I feel like I'm in the best seat. Or Brendo, you're probably all set. Like, you're probably sitting on your
I'm
hands.
ready. I am so ready. I just
Yeah,
need
I
to get
should have
the
known better
all
than
I'm
to say
doing-
anything.
I am banking currency. I mean, you guys need to stop
Yeah.
farming whatever the hell you're farming in stores.
Sorry,
You need
Barf. No.
What are you farming? Cup? Like what?
Hey,
What
no,
is there?
Brendo,
So,
Brendo, I
I mean,
got
it's
your back,
insane.
dude.
So
I totally bought veteran hard shards today in the shop.
Here's what I am doing. Here's what
Actually, I'm
doing.
going to be honest with you. Time out, Valen. The problem with buying the shards for crystals is that they are so expensive. And, you know, if you want to do that, just like because you can, great. More power to you. But I'm avoiding that. I did that with Baze. And I kind of regret it because I could have got them just as easily the old-fashioned way. But trusting that and this might be my turn to be naive. I'm just trusting they put them into a vanilla store, like Galactic War, like Cantina store, Arena, and we could just buy and refresh and get them really quickly. Now, if they put them on,
who are we talking about here?
We're talking about the veterans.
All right, my prediction is one is going to go into a Cantina node, and the other one's going into 4. That's what I'm thinking.
I just don't want them both to go in Cantina. That would totally derail what I want to do, and that would be like me
Yeah,
going
see,
into a
that's where
muscle.
I don't want to be.
Just backing up for a minute. If that happens, I'm gonna actually want to die because they're scoundrels. I need to be on them. Like they're scoundrels. I need to get them. So
the addiction lives, you know.
yeah. So if they're
not even bounty hunters, and you want them.
Let's put this into perspective. If they go into Cantina, then I'm gonna have to stop farming Old Ben, stop farming Hera and Ezra, and start farming them. So I'm gonna miss out on Thrawn, and then I'm gonna miss out on CLS again.
Well, screw
just
that
so I
crap,
can get
man.
that.
No, don't do that.
No
Yeah,
wonder I
that
keep
I-
getting farther ahead
Bad
of you.
idea.
That would be a bad idea to up them over them, unless you could absolutely get Ray. If you could, like, if you'll just get Ray, then maybe.
No, you don't
There's
understand
no-
the addiction. You don't understand. It's worse than heroin. Like you guess who I'm gearing up right. Guess who I'm farming right now.
I don't even want you to say because
I'm
whatever-
farming. I just got Newt to 7 stars.
Oh my good lord.
Okay.
Impressive.
We need,
And
to, we need to
and
sit
now
down. We need to have an intervention for you. Is what we need to do.
I'm farming Cup from Squad Arena. I'm
Oh,
farming
man.
Cup from Squad Arena, and I'm farming Mob Enforcer from Cantina.
All right, this is
That
out of
goes
hand.
back to my point though about stores. You need to stop farming characters like Newt, like Cup, until Ray's
I
in the game.
need
So-
them to 7 stars.
so-
They're scoundrels. I
Can we
need them.
Pause on the scoundrels for a second. Brendo, what I wanted to say this because I am actually saving currency, at least in the arena store, because I don't really need anything from there, and all I was doing was getting gear with it through the shard shop. So I figured I'll just save this, and then I'll just spend my my Galactic War currency on the gear basically when I need it. And I save the Galactic War currency.
Shark farming?
Yeah, for the free shards for the gear. And basically, that's been good for me. I've still been saving some of the Galactic War currency up, but basically I just use it whenever I need gear from the place there. So, and I already have about 4,500 of the arena saved up. So, I'm pretty
Need
good.
22,000. Once you get
Yeah,
22,000,
I think you guys are naive to think that shit's going in the shop.
I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing it because I do. In general, I agree with Brendo. It's a good idea to have currency saved up. Just in general, not about veteran Han and Chewie, but just in general, it's a good idea to have some currency saved up. So I'm gonna try and do that.
I think for them to put a character, like one character, anything more than one single character on a place that's not easily farmable for Hero's Journey event would be just a typical forum drama revolt. And I think they'd rather not do that.
Yeah.
So I'm trusting stores.
We'll see what
Stores are
happens.
workable.
We'll see what happens.
Here's what I'm doing. If anybody wanted to know, big jerks.
Dude,
What's that, Furious?
I'm buying them up to at least 5 stars or so, and maybe a little bit towards 6. That way, when it does come out, even if it's only a few days or whatever, I can just go boom and I'm done.
Nice,
Wherever
nice.
they put them.
That's smart. That's the smartest thing to do is just to get them. I mean, really, if you wanted to, you could 7-star them before they're even released. So
If you're top in arena and you're getting all sorts of crystal payouts, let's just make that a clear statement for people.
Yeah, which Furious? I'm pretty sure Furious you are, right? You're getting that top easily.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not number 1 right now, but, Dark Side Life.
Well, I just wanted to make that clear for listeners because sometimes people get confused. They're like, "How? How is this possible?" Well, it's because you're getting, the crystals from arena.
But
Yeah.
if you think about it, really, it's just my fleet arena. Like, I get number 1 in the fleet arena. That's more than enough to get 4 crystals a day, or 4 shards a day of Han.
Yeah, I think it's just important for people to know that. Next we're going to talk about just a little bit of lore in Star Wars here, the beginning of the First Order. So right now, First Order is big in the game, so I figured we'd do a little bit of a segment on the First Order. All of this lore comes from, the books that have come out and different things. And so it's all canon. What we know about the First Order, so we don't know a lot about, how they, actually formed. What we do know about the beginnings of the First Order in the Star Wars universe is they really started at the Battle of Jakku. The Battle of Jakku was the end of the Empire. It was the final last stand of the New Republic / rebellion against the Empire. and the Empire lost horribly. Now, the Battle of Jakku is a big deal because Palpatine, one of Palpatine's final orders before he died, was sending the Empire to Jakku to retrieve something of great importance that was there. Apparently there was laboratories and things on Jakku that Palpatine had buried deep beneath the surface. And he was sending them there, and the New Republic found out that they were headed there, and that the final remnants of the Empire that was left in the galaxy were headed to Jakku. So the Rebellion / the New Republic sent their fleet to head off the First Order, or not the First Order, sorry, the Empire, and wipe them out once and for all. What the New Republic didn't know at the time was that the Empire had already had a large amount of fleets sent out into the unknown regions, because Palpatine knew something was going on out there. He didn't know exactly what was happening, but he felt very heavy dark side presence in the unknown regions. So he started sending, exploratory vessels, and then when he died, a large part of the Empire fled into the unknown regions to regroup. And after the Battle of Jakku, where most of what was left of the remnants of the Empire died, the rest who survived the battle jumped ship, went to the unknown regions, and then sort of regrouped with their fellow friends. And basically what we know is the First Order came back into the galaxy about 10, maybe 15 years later, before the events of, the First Order started becoming a big thing in the galaxy only a few years before the Force Awakens. They started really rearing their face. It was like 5-6 years before the Force Awakens happened, and they just sort of showed up. They were taking people and from birth and all this kind of stuff for a while undetected, and they just sort of showed up as a faction. And we don't really know much about how they worked their way into the New Republic and into these different things, but we do know that they interfaced with the New Republic on many occasions, and there was some sort of a mutual agreement and working conditions there between these two factions. But we don't know much else about the beginnings of the First Order. What happened in the unknown regions of space? What did they do to regroup and form? Was Snoke the reason why they came together? Did they find Snoke and then he pulled the remnants of the Empire together into the First Order? Is that what happened? We really don't know. Some of this stuff may be answered in the new movie. Most likely, however, these questions will be answered in novels after the new movie is released. Is the most likely scenario for this type of information.
Mind if I butt in for a second?
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, I definitely think that lots of this new stuff is actually going to be released in Battlefront 2.
It's possible.
That story was confirmed to be 100% canon, and it was said to take place, as we've seen, just from as the Death Star is blowing up to right at the beginning of The Force Awakens, and it was supposed to say about the rise of the First Order. That's what it's predicted to be. So my prediction is this is going to be revealed in Battlefront 2, the campaign.
I think Battlefront 2 will reveal a little bit more about the rise of the First Order, but I still think we won't get much information on the unknown regions and what was happening there, and how they actually formed within the unknown regions. I don't know if we'll get that in Battlefront 2. We may see
it's supposed to be following that one lady named Iden. Yeah. I feel like how you said, they kind of regrouped with their friends that were already in the unknown regions. I feel like it's going to be like she kind of stayed behind to fight for the Empire.
Yeah.
People who are in the unknown regions, they came back. They show up. I feel like the unknown region, they're not going to mention that. They're going to talk about how the main force of the Empire that was still present in known space, how they kind of ran around, what they did, and it's going to follow her story in Battlefront 2. But I don't think it's going to show how it developed behind the scenes, but I feel like Battlefront 2 is going to show what happened once they got here, how they did to gain all their power.
Yep. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what we get, what information we do get from Battlefront 2, and I don't think we're gonna get a ton of information on this sort of stuff in the movie because that's just not the place for it.
Yeah, the movies tend to be a little bit more casual lore wise.
Exactly. So I think expect books to come out after the movie, which cover some of this stuff. Honestly, we've heard about the director of this movie came out and said you're not going to really learn much about Snoke and his origin and stuff in this movie, and so I think that stuff about Snoke is most likely going to be book information and stuff we get from there. I don't think we're going to learn too much about it in the movie.
Do you really think that Snoke is going to end up being that important of a character?
I think that basically
I feel like
what we need to learn. Well, here's what I'm going to say. I think in the next movie we're going to learn what we need to learn about Snoke for the sake of the movies, and we're going to learn, a little bit about him. Right? We're not gonna know everything there is to know about Snoke, but we're gonna learn a little bit, little tidbits here and there in the new movie. And then probably in the last movie, we might learn a little bit more, but we probably won't learn a whole ton. And we'll probably, that stuff will probably be revealed in canon novels later on, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Kind of along the same lines what I was thinking. He fills the role of Palpatine in the original trilogy.
Yeah, think about how little we knew about Palpatine.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. He's going to fill that same role. He's
really
going to come in, do a couple of big things. He's going to do a couple of big things, and then he's going to, die or whatever happens to him.
Here's the thing, Face. I think I agree and disagree. I think that he will fill a similar role to Palpatine, but I think he's going to play a much bigger part than Palpatine did.
Oh, no, yeah, I agree. He's not going to... Palpatine showed up in a hologram a couple times, and then he zapped Luke and then died at the end.
Yeah.
Snoke is definitely doing more than that, but he's still not having as big of a role as, say, Kylo will.
I think we're going to see...
Vader did.
I think we're going to see...
I'm really surprised that you guys think that, because I think that Snoke's going to end up being, more of a middleman. I don't think he's going to be, the one driving the car by any means. He's just along for the ride or trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, I think the books have laid the foundation for Snoke to be a really big character. And I know that doesn't mean anything technically for what they do with the movie, but Rian Johnson and a lot of the other people who work on the movie co-wrote these books and helped with these books. And so the information that's in these books is important, and it is kind of laying seeds for you to know where they're going with the movies. It's not going to affect the movie so much as it is sort of giving you hints as to what is going to happen within the movies. So I do feel like Snoke is going to be big because they're really building him up to be big in these books in a lot of ways. They're building him up to be this big dark side being that's just something that we have never seen before, something that Palpatine, even the likes of Palpatine, didn't even know what was going on. He was I sense... Palpatine thought, is it the origin of the dark side? That was the quote from Palpatine. He thought it may have been the origin of the dark side itself.
You think that he was referring to Snoke?
Yes, I think he was.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But that's not confirmed, though.
What's confirmed is that Snoke was in the unknown regions. Palpatine was really scared of things in the unknown regions. He didn't know what was going on there. He sensed what he thought was the origin of the dark side. We know Snoke came from the unknown regions. So it all matches up. It all makes sense. That's what they're building towards.
Interesting, because I thought that maybe Palpatine reached out to him because he knew something was there and that Snoke could help him.
Well,
I thought something reached out to Palpatine.
Yeah, something reached out to Palpatine. That's how it was. He sent something reaching out to him. He didn't know what it was. He couldn't quite make out what was going on. He thought it was the origin of the dark side, and that eventually he could go to this place in the unknown regions and tap into some sort of ultimate power that was much more powerful than the power that even he had at his disposal. And Palpatine, by the way, is very powerful. So
he's definitely he's definitely one of the most powerful Sith.
The problem that I have with that is if it is Snoke calling out to Palpatine, number one, what is he calling out to him for? And number two, if that were the case, why would Palpatine care?
Well, the other piece of the puzzle why Palpatine would care...
It must be something bigger than Snoke.
The other piece of the puzzle to why Palpatine would care about Snoke, and I'm not saying that he knew it was Snoke. He didn't know it was Snoke. He didn't know what it was. But Thrawn came in and basically said, listen, there's crap going on in the unknown regions that's super dangerous, and that the Chiss need the Empire's help with. Like, and so I'm coming to become part of the Empire so that we can get your help, because we need it, because there's threats that are more dangerous than anything you can imagine. And one of the things that was said in the Thrawn novel was, the character Eli Vanto looked over to Thrawn and said, man, the Empire is more evil than we thought it was. Do you really think it's worth being a part of this evil? And Thrawn basically looked at him and said, there are things worse in the galaxy and in the unknown regions, and my goals are towards those things and protecting not only the Chiss but the galaxy from those threats. And if we have to allow an evil to fight an even greater evil, then we will do
lesser
that.
of two evils.
Then that's what we will have to do. So, I just feel like in all of the novels, this is across the board. They're building it up in every novel, not just in the Lost Stars and in the Journey to the Force Awakens, but also in the Thrawn novel. All of these novels are building up the unknown regions, this great force that was in the unknown regions. And then what do we learn? Well, Snoke came from the unknown regions. So it's really easy to connect the dots and just say there's something going on there. He's something bigger than people are thinking he is, I think.
It surprises me that I totally interpreted it so much differently than that.
Well, go ahead. What do you interpret all of those hints and clues as?
So think of it this way. How, if you want to compare him to Palpatine, let's just compare him to Palpatine. So what did Palpatine do? He came up in the Senate, and he made his ascent to power politically. I mean, that guy was all over the place. He had his hands everywhere in the galaxy. So for this other person, Snoke, to compare to Palpatine, I mean, that's a pretty high measure. And from what I can see, I mean, Snoke is barely alive. I mean, he looks heavily damaged for one thing, and people say maybe that's because he's super ancient or whatever. But I mean, still, he's not sitting pretty like Palpatine was. Palpatine was like master of the universe. So it seems more likely.
I mean, an old thing.
Who knows? Maybe
slowly healing himself.
Who knows? Maybe. But the point is this: is that Palpatine? It's not like his first go. Snoke's not going to get one up on Palpatine.
Here's the thing that about the argument
if
that you're making.
If Snoke's more powerful than Palpatine potentially, right? Because we know that Palpatine felt something, right? We don't know what it was, if it was Snoke or whatever. We just know that it comes from the same place Snoke does. So I think that it's more likely that Palpatine reached out to Snoke, or that maybe Snoke intercepted a transmission or got a hold of some type of information that belonged to the Empire.
No. This was a Force. Understand, this was a Force thing. This had nothing to do with
No,
transmissions.
I know that, but I'm saying that maybe Snoke, after the war, and after the Empire fell, when they started the First Order, maybe they found some piece of information that Palpatine had, and that's why they call it the First Order, is because they found that's their directive for everything, because Palpatine had this information that is so big and profound, and it comes from the origin of the dark side, that it's huge. So why would Snoke even care to make the First Order if he was the guy that Palpatine was looking for? So it'd be kind of weird, because he would have already won. Does that make sense? He'd just be sitting in his throne, high-fiving people. It would be over.
I don't think it's that easy. I don't think it's that simple.
If he was the greatest, if he was greater than Palpatine, even Palpatine was like, wow, we need to do this because it's so great. I mean, Snoke just would have rolled up and he would have already won. He wouldn't even, he's dealing with Kylo and Rey and all this drama. Nah, there must be something bigger than him out there that we don't know about yet.
I think that it has to do with the knowledge that he has, and less so the knowledge that he has to be able to be powerful. I don't think that it's that simple. I think it's a little bit more complicated in terms of Snoke himself. And that's why I say I don't think it'll be talked about in the films. I think it'll be a book thing. But I do think it's a little bit more complicated, to where Snoke was extremely powerful, and now he's maybe not. He was locked away. Something happened in the past, who knows, to reduce his power. And so he seems to be having a plan of sorts to gain it back, is what it feels like to me. Not so much that he's a vampire or whatever, but just It could be that, but it could be anything. And I feel like
I definitely agree. And there's only one more thing, I guess, that made me feel in this direction that it was a little bit different than that simplicity is because the Knights of Ren and the whole Kylo Ren thing, they seem to be like a sub-faction or even like a cult. They're not really like First Order. Like whenever you see Kylo interact with General Hux, Hux is like giving him the finger. He's like, I hate this guy. Like I have to put up with this prissy kid and whatever. Because he's not a military, ranking person. He's more of like an outside thing. So we don't know who Ren is or what Ren is.
One of the things
so it's kind of weird that they have this cultist thing with a costume. Because anytime you got a costume and whatever, there's typically some type of like embodiment involved with it.
Give people an understanding of the Knights of Ren. They come from a different cult, actually, called the Acolytes of the Beyond. And the Acolytes of the Beyond were sort of worshippers of Darth Vader to some degree. And they actually, one of the things we learned from one of the books is that they actually found Darth Vader's lightsaber. And they were like, trying to trade for it on the black market and get it because they thought that the lightsaber had power in it and stuff. And so they wanted to, they were, like I said, they worshiped Darth Vader and they sort of became the Knights of Ren. So that was a little tidbit that we had from the lore that we still don't really know much about, but that's sort of where they come from, the Knights of Ren. So I do think that the Knights of Ren are ancient and old and something that goes beyond Ben Solo. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes, but that's that. So yeah,
First Order. So I'm excited. The more books come out, the more the movies get in depth with this, the better it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's awesome. Now, in closing here, I want to touch on the last line in the patch notes, which is to make mine a double. Where do you guys think we're going with that?
Alcoholism.
Alcoholism. Well, it could be anything. I think it's most likely it's some sort of a character.
Meta.
What?
Come on,
When I think a
Face.
double, I think
How is Face?
I don't know. I don't
Come
know
on,
what
dude. What
the
the
conversation
heck?
is really
Like,
about.
I
I don't know.
was sitting here
I
holding
didn't
my
read.
breath.
I didn't read the patch notes at all.
We just told it to you, though.
You don't need to read. You don't need to read anything. Brendo, say it one more time. I don't think Face was alive.
a double.
Say it.
It's like an up next.
That's
make mine a double.
in the what's ahead note. It says make mine a double. ...
Then
No, it says-
I'm gonna say we're going scoundrels, boys.
Who do you
Exactly. We're going scoundrel, right?
Yeah.
It's got to
Yeah,
be somebody from the new movie, I imagine.
That would, I could see that happening. Kind of like, think about it. The whole cadence of the new trilogy is kind of following the original trilogy and what happened in Empire Strikes Back, the middle movie. Extremely dark. The light side was losing a lot. And who came in? A bunch of bounty hunters came in and just ruined their day. So what if that same type of thing happens now?
Bounty Hunters technically.
It's gonna be DJ, probably, right? The Benicio del Toro guy.
Do we think DJ is a bad guy, good guy? What do we think?
I think he's a scoundrel, good or bad.
The scoundrels. Scoundrels aren't bad or good for the
Light
most part.
side, dark side is what I'm asking.
Right side.
I'd say.
I mean, that's yet to be seen.
I think Maz Kanata
Yeah.
sends him to see DJ, so if Maz Kanata links him, it would be light side.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second that. It probably is light side.
Yeah, probably light side.
Maybe they combo up with the vets and they can have a little scoundrel light side fun or something.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
surprised,
Like-
Furious. At
Or
an early conversation
Scoundrels
we
on
had,
that.
you were telling me that you thought maybe Benicio turns on them and is like a double agent.
Yeah, but think about it this way. Wait. Check it out. But so did Lando. He's a light side character. He totally sold him out, right?
But
he's light
that
side.
was for his own means, not because he supported the First Order.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about. No, what I said was this. What I said, maybe he's just in it for the profit, and maybe he'll just sell him out right after.
He's a scoundrel. He's kind of a bounty hunter, so he's just in it just to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, so they might show up and be like, "Hey, buddy, give us some help," and he's like, "Cool, here you go." And then the second they leave, he's gonna make a phone call like to the First Order and be like, "Hey, dudes,
Yeah.
they went that way," and then he's gonna.
So
get
he
paid
makes
twice.
money from what he gets benefited from one, and then he gets benefited from the other.
Yeah, because he's a scoundrel and a scumbag, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, I got
Yeah,
paid twice,"
exactly.
You know?
if the good guys pay you to help them, and then you sell that information to the bad guys for even more money.
Yeah, so that's my number one. I mean, if we want a cool prediction, a cool prediction would be like if it was Hondo or something, then it'd be a lot
Oh
of fun.
fuck yes, give me
If it
Hondo.
was Hondo,
Why-
if it was
time
making
out,
it a
guys.
double,
Why do you guys think this has anything to do with Hondo? I have
Hondo-
to get you guys.
Hondo
Hondo
has
is
a
the
line.
only person. He's the only person that I can think of in Star Wars that pours 2 drinks. That's what I'm
Well,
going with.
and I
it.
think
he
he says
serves up
it.
and he makes it a double. He hooks
I'm
up
pretty-
Anakin and Kenobi, and I'm pretty sure he says something involving double.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch
Dude,
it later today. That's what I'm gonna watch.
If they gave us Hondo, you don't know how happy I'd be.
Dude, I love Hondo.
I don't think they will. I don't
like
think they will.
Hondo,
But I'm just hoping.
and they probably won't. They probably won't.
No, he's
but
in the
Hondo
game.
is such
Whatever.
like real talk for a minute. He is such a goddamn G.
I love
Like
him.
there's no arguing that. In like the whole Clone Wars series, he is so awesome.
They kind of ruined
He's,
him
yeah,
a
he's
little
a
bit.
bad guy. He's a bad guy, but he's also a good guy, and he's just so chill.
No,
about
yeah,
everything.
he doesn't hurt kids, but he captures the Sith Lord and a Jedi Master, like in the
Exactly.
same one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one episode. There was one episode in Rebels that kind of was like, man, you kind of messed up the Hondo character a little bit for me here with this episode. I didn't enjoy him as much in this episode that I did in the other one. You know,
He's definitely really good in Clone Wars.
yeah. He's
He had a
Even
thing
even
with Aura-
even
he had a
even,
thing with
even
Aura
the
Snake, I
little
was like,
debut
oh,
he
man.
had in Rebels. Even
so.
the debut he
Anyways,
had in Rebels.
it could be Hondo. Who else could it be? Do you think we could get another different scoundrel that's not from the movie?
we could get another Han Solo because why the hell not?
Double down.
That's next year. Though.
Double down Han Solo.
That's next year, though, man. We're getting Han Solo
But the
next
vibe
year.
that I got, just from reading that, the vibe that I got was that it was just a plug for double drops.
But they've
Because they did
never
double
done
drops.
that before. They've never
They
plugged double drops.
It's
before.
definitely something. It's something special.
Hold on, they did double drops for the anniversary.
Yes, but they just did it. They didn't talk about it. They just
Yeah.
did it.
What
Yeah,
about-
but double drops? I think are at the point where they would plug them.
You think
It's
it's
kind of a
that
big
big of
deal.
it? I mean, I don't know.
What about hear me out with this one though? What about Django?
No. Doesn't make any
How are we
sense.
doubling anything?
You're doubling the amount of
Double
doubling
blasters?
fets.
Double-
Doubling the amount of fets. You got Boba
Okay,
and Django.
you're at the
Doubling the
level.
amount of useful bounty hunters.
Okay, but saying Jango Fett because he has 2 blasters, it's at the level where people are like, oh, it's Revan because he
No.
has 2 lightsabers. No, just no. Get out of
Yeah,
here.
no, I'm not. No, that's not what I said.
take
I
it.
said.
I'll take it.
I said there's.
You heard
These
Balin?
grass
He's got 2
trolls.
lightsabers.
No.
It's Revan.
No, it's stupid. That's a stupid prediction. It's
Great
dumb.
Yeah, no, no,
idea.
no. The reason I say Django,
No,
the reason
Balin, you're
I'm
right.
guessing Django is imagine like double. You got. I mean, it's probably not. This is definitely
Yeah.
not. Is what I'm saying. But the reasoning behind if someone would think Django would be you got Boba Fett and doubling it for Django Fett. Boom.
Mhm.
I do have one other alternative, which I don't know, it's kind of lame,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
maybe. What if they have 2 legendary events at the same time? What if CLS and Rey run concurrently?
That
Like,
could make sense. I would go for that.
Well, then that's just such a fancy sort of
gonna
Easter
double
egg
down,
that
man, you know.
leads to nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the double down, I feel like it has to do something with a character release. I mean, it just makes sense. That's my
I
final
mean, to me, it just seems like a tangential thing. I mean, nothing really. No character immediately. Like, I mean, with the last one with Unmasked Kylo, it's like it kind of felt like that. You know, I don't feel like there's, you know, the Tarkin rework.
Yeah.
What led to the Tarkin rework just screamed Tarkin. You know.
After the Special Forces pilot, I just feel like it's gonna be another Last Jedi.
Yeah, probably. So, do we have any other predictions for the game? Now that we've seen the reveal of the Unmasked Kylo, do you guys have anything you wanted to predict, really quick?
I predict that they add all the bounty hunters I want, and they all get reworked.
Okay, I meant a realistic prediction.
A lot of reworks.
Realistic prediction, like
reworks.
a serious prediction.
serious
I'd say just a bunch of First Order coming out. A bunch of First Order.
All right.
Plus, also Resistance is probably going to come out of
Yeah,
an awful lot.
and some Resistance too. Yeah.
I think we're gonna get General Leia. That's my opinion.
No, I definitely would have to disagree.
I don't see
I think we're
why.
going to get a lot of Dark Side. I think Dark Side is going to be.
Darkseid's gonna have a big. I'm really hoping. like, a big moment.
Darkseid's going on a 3-month spree. If you haven't realized that yet, Val.
No,
right
it
after Rey,
is.
right after Rey comes out, it's gonna get real dark out.
No,
Fast.
it is. I agree, but I think that
gonna
General
be-
Leia and the new character from the movie, what's her name? That's with
Rose.
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 I think her, Leia, and one other character, and I think those are the light side characters we're gonna get from the movies.
Okay,
All right,
I'll
but
let that. I'll buy that.
here's what I'm saying though. Imagine this: we got Battlefront 2, which is all about First Order. Boom, now we get more dark side characters. Then after that comes Last Jedi, bunch more dark side characters, and then all ties up with or then it all ends up with the Han Solo movie where we're just gonna get another Han Solo. But
Well, that doesn't come out till summer though, so you're leaving a big gap.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. In between that gap, that's where dark side's gonna reign supreme.
Yeah,
Sure,
so
but I
here's
still think
here's
3
my
light side
prediction.
characters in addition to Rey. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I'm moving beyond Last Jedi. I think the Last Jedi ones at this point are pretty obvious. So we'll get this guy and that guy from Last Jedi. Maybe
Yeah,
a
we got Hux,
trooper.
Snoke, all
Maybe
those.
a trooper. Maybe Hux.
Maybe one of the Knights of Ren, all that. We have all that down.
Yeah.
It's
It'll be a big
afterwards
deal.
that I'm
It'll
thinking
be
about
fun.
right now.
So yeah, I'm thinking not in January, but maybe February. I think when around the time that the Sith were released last year, I think they're coming back. I
Yeah,
think
but
Darth Revan's gonna
imagine this though. What if they went with what if Kylo Ren like Unmasked was just the beginning of like Battlefront 2 comes out and how they come up with a bunch of Empire characters and characters that have synergy with both First Order and Empire. And then Last Jedi comes out with more First Orders. So now you're meant to be using Empire, First Order, and the new Battlefront 2 characters.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You know, I got to be honest. I just I was feeling that for a little bit a couple months ago, but at this point, I think it's gone cold, and I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think Battlefront 2 is going to happen, man.
I actually don't even think we'll get Inferno Squadron at all.
Yeah, me neither.
That would be super depressing, actually, because they look cool.
Well, but
Maybe
I just-
they release it a long time from now after they see
Maybe.
how popular
Maybe.
those characters are.
That would be fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Just think of it like a popularity contest. If you're like, okay, guys, who's the most popular
Yeah,
dark
'cause
side
it- 'cause
character
if
that
you think
anybody
about
can
it-
want? You can have this
Yeah.
new lady from Battlefront 2, or you could have Darth Revan. Everybody put up. I mean, everybody's gonna want Darth Revan, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, and
So I think
just
they're gonna try to go
thinking
big.
about it practically, like most of the people that play this game just play this game casually, and they're not serious gamers because it's a mobile game. Just generally, mobile games are way less serious than like a PC game, for example, like Battlefront 2. So most of these people won't really play Battlefront 2 or care about the character at all.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see, but I'm just hoping because she seems cool.
It's cool. All right. Brendo, you want to close us out now since you have to go?
Time for us to say goodbye. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening to us. And,
And my
if you
bounty
can,
hunter rants. Listen to those two.
a lot of bounty hunters.
Yeah,
a lot of bounty hunters.
thanks.
But I think I'd like everybody here, if you would, to like, share, and subscribe to us just to help us get some hits and to spread the word. And it was a pleasure. And as always, have a great night. Known to